corporate monopolies. The left is using social credit score type tactics to shut down free speech. Aren't they doing that in China right now? So the way a social credit score works is so-called private companies collude with the government and come up with so-called social credit scores, and your credit score gets rated as high or low based upon where you fall in your agreement or disagreement with the current politically correct paradigm. So, there'll be algorithms or there'll be actual people going through your social media, going through your content creation. If you're a content creator, just checking out your entire social media footprint to see how subversive you are or how much you agree with the currently acceptable politically correct narrative. And if you have too many posts, too much content online, too many opinions that disagree with the PC narrative, well, your credit score will go down. And then big corporations will offer or deny certain services based upon your social credit score. So technically, it's a private business deciding who they will and won't do business with. So, it doesn't fall under constitutional protections. But wait a second. What about discrimination? What about discriminating against people based on political views? That's illegal, right? Well, apparently not. Apparently not. And even if it is, don't expect the Supreme Court to weigh in because they're afraid of riots. Yeah, apparently, that's an excuse not to do your job in this country now. Oh, anyway, before I get into this story more, I'd like to ask those of you out there who like and appreciate the red-pilled nature of my content to go check out my website, therealistphilosopher.com. That is therealistphilosopher.com. And consider making a donation by clicking on the donate button. You can donate Bitcoin to my Bitcoin wallet address. You can donate to my Cash App. Or you can donate to my Patreon, which is a per-piece platform. And it's a subscription-style platform as well. I make about 8 pieces a month, so you donate $1. It's $8 a month, 50 cents, $4 a month. I think you get the idea. You can choose whatever amount you want and multiply it by 8 per month. Any amount is greatly appreciated, so go check that out, therealistphilosopher.com. I could really use your help. So, Senator Josh Hawley said in a statement Tuesday that corporate monopolies, created by their parasitical relationship with the government, and the left want to use the social credit score system to stifle free speech and force their political agenda on the United States. Indeed. Hawley released this statement as he faced enormous criticism from the left and corporations for his objecting to the certification of the 2020 election. Yet, God forbid you have an opinion that differs from the popular so-called accepted opinion. By the way, who gets to decide what is the correct and incorrect opinion? However, he noted the cancel culture agenda will only succeed if we let it, which of course we will, because we won't do anything. Because people on the right just sit back and eat their Cheetos and think somebody else is going to do the heavy lifting. They think that the Tucker Carlsons of the world and the Ben Shapiros, who are both fake controlled opposition shills, are going to keep the powerful in check because they're talking about the evil doers and what they're doing is so wrong and unconstitutional. Meanwhile, nobody does anything. So the left continues to push through their agendas because nobody actually fights back. That's a do. Talking is not doing. But of course, the right is well known for talking and doing nothing. So Senator Josh Hawley said in a tweet, "Have you checked your social credit score lately?" I didn't know there was such a thing. Holy shit. You might want to. Oh, shit. I got to take a look at this. Mine seems to have taken a nosedive this month. You might want to see how yours is doing. I'm going to have to Google that and see if there's actually such a thing. If there is, we are already at the level of communist China. Everyone knows what a social credit score is, yes, but social credit scores are new. They're the latest corporate import from communist China. Yeah, big corporate America seems to love commie China, where government and big business monitor every citizen's social views and statements. And they're the latest form of cancel culture in this country as corporate monopolies and the left team up to shut down speech they don't like and force their political agenda on America. For those who still believe in free speech and the First Amendment, this is the time to take a stand. How? 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 I mean, Jesus Christ, the left has pretty much indoctrinated or so terrified anybody that could take a stand that they won't. You know, to get beat up and killed. Okay, take a stand. Oh, that's what people fear will happen, and for many people, that will happen. Holy shit! You got that Amy Coney Barrett. She wouldn't even stand up. Trump puts her into power on the Supreme Court. What does she do? Oh, I'm afraid there'll be riots, so we need to pass on ruling on whether or not the election was fixed, which everybody knows it was. But you're expecting people to do the right thing. Do. See, do, not talk. The Democrats control the Congress. They now control the Senate because you got 50 Republican senators, 50 Democratic senators. Very few of those Democratic senators will rule in favor of right-leaning policies, and many of the so-called Republicans are rhinos. And then, of course, you've got Kamala Harris as vice president. She's the president of the Senate. So if there's a 50-50 split, guess who breaks that split? President of the Senate. So the Senate is controlled by the Democrats. The Congress is controlled by the Democrats. The executive branch is most certainly controlled by the Democrats. Meanwhile, you got the judicial branch. They're afraid to do anything to fight back against the left because they're afraid of being killed or having riots incited. So we let things get to this point. It's so freaking sad. So what can people do? Get out. So after this senator, Josh Hawley, objected, publisher Simon & Schuster canceled his book. That's lovely. Yeah. So if you disagree with the left, they will impose negative outcomes upon you. So his book was called The Tyranny of Big Tech. Subsequently, Regnery Publishing signed a deal to publish his work. Very small publishing house, I guess. Loews Hotels refused to host a fundraiser for Hawley in Orlando. They're afraid of their hotel getting burned down, claiming the company was horrified and opposed to the events at the Capitol Hill, which were all lies, all propaganda, and who all supported and incited the actions. So interesting. I wonder if they would turn down BLM. No, we're afraid they'll burn our hotel down. But they know full well conservatives won't burn their hotel down. Oh, no. No repercussions whatsoever for discriminating against conservatives. Furthermore, the Senate Democrats filed an ethics complaint against him and Senator Ted Cruz for their objecting to the certification of the 2020 elections. Yet you can't object. Even though they spent 4 years objecting to Trump, had their farcical hearings and investigations into the fake Russia collusion scandal for 3 years. Then, essentially, they impeached him for nothing. They impeached him for what Joe Biden did. He was looking into Joe Biden, investigating Joe Biden, so they impeached him for trying to essentially find out the truth about Biden and his corruption. And they can do all that, misuse their power. It's okay. But the moment that the Republicans object, ethics complaint time. This is how they do things, you see. This is how they do things. Anybody that doesn't fall in line, they attack them and use every single bit of their power to inconvenience these people and make their lives hell. Do we on the right do that? No. It's as I said before, we need to fight fire with fire. You can't turn the other cheek. You need to fight back against the enemy and use their own tactics against them. This will de-incentivize the left from using such tactics when they know that if they use them, that in turn, those tactics will be used against them. But if you do nothing, well, they're just going to continue to run roughshod all over you. Hawley filed a counter-ethics complaint against the Democrats, charging their baseless allegations as typical of today's left-wing cancel culture. Meanwhile, MSNBC's Joe Scarborough, that idiot, and his stupid wife, called Hawley a seditionist. You're the seditionist. And claimed he led an insurrection. All lies, of course. But they're the media. They're the authorities, so what they say must be true. Hawley said corporations have moved to censor those who might endanger the Democrat Party's control over the federal government. The corporate titans seem to believe that the only way to get a democracy to their liking is to eliminate all threats to the Democratic Party's unified control of the government. For some time, conservatives, recognizing that we're now the counterculture, indulged in the delusion that we could opt out of all of this. See, he's starting to see the light. We send our kids to schools that don't teach all the woke stuff. We'd make our friends at church, not at work, and by the way, the church has been infiltrated by libtards too. And take comfort that trust and openness were still possible in communities of shared purpose. We'd vote our conscience because the ballot box was something no election could take from us. That's not true. They just took your vote with Biden. It was fixed. Come on. And if ever our political organizing was impeded by censorship, say by the big tech giants we could build our own platforms. Yeah, not anymore. However, he noted conservatives need to continue fighting the left to preserve free speech. Yeah, by talking. This is so interesting to me. So the left is in power. They control media. They control academia. They control all aspects of the government. And those aspects of the government they don't control, they have cowed into submission. So same thing, same difference. So now you think that you can fight them with speech, even though they've eliminated free speech effectively. That's like the government taking all the guns away, and then there's a call to arms to fight back against the illegitimate, corrupt government, and you have no arms. They've taken away your ability to speak freely. How can you fight them with free speech, you idiot? He goes on to say, we need to stand up for the basic principles that join all Americans together. Of course, his idea of standing up is just talking more, which will be censored. The right to speak freely, which you don't have, so your words won't be heard and have no effect anyway. To debate openly, which you can't do. And to address our differences graciously without fear of being silenced or punished for dissenting views. But you're silenced, so... for one, I'm not going to back down. Well, who gives a fuck? You can write your fucking books and talk all you want. Nobody's going to hear you. My book will be published. Yeah, 2 people will read it. Amazon will ban it. And I will continue to represent the people of my state without fear or favor, whatever the left or the corporations say. Good for you. You're going to ignore reality and continue to yap, and nobody is going to broadcast your message. The powerful see in the present moment an opportunity to consolidate their control over society and to squelch dissent. No, Mr. Hawley, they've already done that. You just don't realize it, okay? Or if you do, you're another one of these controlled opposition shills trying to direct people to do something that will have no effect in fighting this squelching of dissent. Hawley said, as he concluded his statement, that means those who believe in the First Amendment and the fundamental principles of American liberty must take a stand while we still can. It's too late, buddy. It's too late. We have too few outlets, and too many people have been blue-pilled. Too many people have been indoctrinated into leftist groupthink. They're in power. Don't you get it? They control all the media. They control Fox News. They control MSNBC. They control ABC, CBS. You name it. Whatever letters you can name, they control it. Hell, they even control ESP fucking N. You want to watch sports, you got to listen to their woke bullshit. I got to watch these idiots fucking kneel. They control everything, you moron. You can't win with free speech. With speech when you have no free speech. And what annoys me is that this moron is peddling the idea that we still have free speech so we can use that to fight back against them when it's impossible. Because we can't. Because we don't have free speech. Oh, lovely. We've effectively been silenced, you moron. And now they control the voting. Oh, this guy is in the fucking dark. I don't know if he's controlled opposition, trying to push on to people ineffective strategies and techniques for fighting the left, or if he's just stupid. But whatever it is, you can't fight back now with free speech. I'm going to talk. I'm going to continue to talk. I'm going to continue to spread as much knowledge, wisdom, understanding of reality about what's going on as possible. I'm not going to not fight. That's how I'm contributing. But the truth of the matter is, the effect of what I'm trying to do through speech is going to be limited. Very few people are going to hear what I have to say. It'll have some effect in the long term, as some of the people I'm teaching now will be alive when the whole globalist, communist utopia collapses, and then they'll have the right ideas to rebuild things. See, I'm playing the long game because I understand that in the short term, we're done. This guy don't, though. And that's the problem. And these ineffective strategies that he is trying to parlay. It's time to fight. But nobody's going to. In any real, organized way that's large enough to make any difference. So we're screwed. By the time anybody does stand up and fight against this stuff, it'll be too late. The government will be so big, so powerful, it'll be such an overwhelming amount of our GDP. Already, isn't it something like 1/3 of Americans actually work for the government? If you add up all the municipal workers, city, state, local government, federal government, if you add it all up, you're talking about around 1/3 of the population working for the government. Where are we going to be in 20 years? 50%? 60% of the population working for the government? I mean, once you've gotten to that point, too many people are dependent upon the government, and already too many people are dependent upon the government that people are not going to have the will to fight back. And those that do are not going to be enough to make a difference. But let me know what you think. Is Senator Josh Hawley correct? Can we still right this sinking ship with words alone? Even though few, if any, people will hear our words. And the ones that do aren't enough to make any real difference. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Or am I mistaken? And there's still enough room for debate and freedom of speech that my message and the message of others will right the sinking ship, and America will not continue further along the course it's on toward communism if we just talk more. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and please like and subscribe to my BitChute channel if you have not already, bitchute.com/The Realist Philosopher. And again, if you really like and appreciate the raw, ripple nature of my content, please consider going and checking out my website, TheRealistPhilosopher.com. That is TheRealistPhilosopher.com, and clicking on that donate button. I could really use your help.